bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. It must be Friday. See? Told you. See? Told you. That's all I got is Friday. Like, so Friday is your day. 833-212-1017 is the number. If you have anything you want to complain about, within reason, and make it clean. It's a family show. You get to pop off on today. Because I got a whole bunch of stuff that I've been reading in the newspaper. And, you know, I'm an equal opportunity type guy. Like, I'm not perfect. Nobody else is perfect. But some stuff people do kind of makes me go, wait, what? And so my top 5 at 5 is full of, people doing some really, really ridiculous things. However, my opening for Dr. Ken's Truth is a little unsettling. Well, that's not true. It's not a little unsettling, it's a lot unsettling. And the reason it is because everybody's going to jump on it. And everybody's going to pretend like all cops are like this, and they're not. And so I can take up for the police when they do right, but then I got to slam them when they do wrong. And in this instance, they did wrong. And so looking at the story, it's pretty interesting. I don't know if you've read it, and I don't know if you've heard about it, but there are several things in the news today that have to do with the police. And as I said, when you do great, it's great things, have you on the show, talk about all that. But when you do bad, you get to get hammered like everybody else. You get to get, what's the phrase, gaslit like everybody else. I get to come after you, right? Because you're held to a standard. It's not a higher standard. Like, I don't understand. What's a higher standard? No, the law's the law. You follow, you don't. And the same thing that happens to the general public is the same thing that should happen to the police or any other public official that does something wrong. Now, we also know that sometimes people get a slide, like that Scotty golfer dude that should be in jail right now for battery to a police officer, and got all these white folks screaming and hollering, "There's no reason why he." I said y'all said the same thing about the black basketball player on the Bucks. Said he was probably out doing something wrong. He went to Walgreens and parked in a handicapped parking. Ended up getting tased. Really? But we're held to what? A different standard. Black people seem to be held to a standard of perfection. Black people seem to be held to a standard of, if you do something wrong, you're guilty until proven innocent. So the story I'm going to talk about, I need to remind you, this person has been charged, but they have not been found guilty. So let's do this. Let's wait until this person goes to court and is found guilty. So what is it? Well, according to a criminal complaint, a District 6 Milwaukee police officer used a police database to provide information to a convicted felon, helping the felon conceal the true identity of stolen vehicles, and admitted to offering to sell guns to the felon. It's a story on WISN.com by Derek Rose, anchor and investigative reporter. Milwaukee police officer is facing a string of federal charges alleging he used his position and law enforcement resources for illicit purposes, including providing the home addresses of rival gang members to a convicted felon. The charges filed yesterday in U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Wisconsin against Juwan Madlock stem from an investigation into the Brotha Z family, BZF, which investigators describe as a violent street gang in Milwaukee. According to the criminal complaint, investigators executed a search warrant last month on Greenfield property connected to a BZF member, which led to the discovery of an iPhone, which investigators said contained text messages between BZF, the BZF member, who's a convicted felon, and Madlock. Based on the text messages, some of which were included in the complaint, the investigators believe Madlock, 29, among other things, used the police database to identify identical vehicles and get plates to put on stolen vehicles. In the complaint, investigators said Madlock also offered the felon advice on eluding the police if he were being chased. The complaint said Madlock wrote, adding, "I told you if you ever get in a speed, get on that highway and just keep going. They got to cancel it." The text messages, according to the complaint, also said the two discussed buying Glock firearms from the officer. FBI Special Agent Christopher Burke wrote in the complaint, investigators further believe that the firearms need to be Glocks because they intend to affix machine gun conversion devices on them, which usually only works on Glocks. The diversion device, known as a switch, makes a semi-automatic fully automatic, meaning it can spray bullets in a fraction of a second with one squeeze of the trigger. A semi-automatic, for every single bullet, you have to pull the trigger for each bullet. The complaint said Madlock shared the names and photographs. Now here's the part that burns me. The complaint said Madlock shared the names and photographs of fellow police officers who were investigating the felon's activities or involved in other investigative work. Burke also said Madlock used his law enforcement database to obtain and provide the home addresses for at least 3 of the felon's rival gang members. Madlock wrote to the felon, according to the complaint, "Let me know if you need that map," map pin emoji. "Them spots should be good. Try buff him, then he probably where he feels safe." Investigators believe this conversation reflects the felon is looking for addresses of BZF rivals for the purpose of shooting and possibly killing them, Burke wrote. Investigators suspected Madlock knows why the felon wants the addresses, especially since Madlock notes that one address Madlock provided is probably where the BZF rival feels safe, and utilized open source databases and law enforcement databases to find addresses on these individuals. So there was a warrant that led to the discovery executed February 13th, and by March 7th, investigators had applied for search warrants directly linked to Madlock's property and devices. The same day Matlock was requested to report to Milwaukee Police Internal Affairs to speak to investigators, agents executed a federal search warrant at his home. There, Burke said they found a Glock pistol with an extended magazine and a switch attached to the weapon. Burke said Matlock admitted the weapon was his. The complaint said Matlock also admitted to providing the felon with ammunition and offering to sell guns to the convicted felon. Matlock is charged with I don't know what that word is. Misprision, which is transferring ammunition to a felon, possession of a machine gun, lying to federal officers, and obstruction, among other charges. And he hasn't seen a judge yet. Milwaukee police confirmed that Matlock, who had nearly 10 years of service, has resigned from the department. Police Chief Jeffrey Norman expects in a statement from the Milwaukee Police Department this morning, said Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman expects all members sworn and civilian to demonstrate the highest ethical standards in the performance of their duties and was extremely disappointed to learn about the misconduct in this case. Chief Norman wants to remind the public that everyone is afforded the right of due process under the law and as such are innocent until proven guilty. And so one of the things we have to look at, right? One of the things I ask, treat this guy the same way you treat anybody else. But if he's convicted, he should go to jail he should go to prison like everybody else. And these are the types of things that set the police department back 20 years. For every 5 steps they take forward, they take 100 steps backwards. But what this is proof that the police department, the vast majority of them, do the right thing for the right reasons in the right way. Because otherwise it could have been just bashed, forgotten about. But we have media people who do what? Check search warrants that have been issued and see what they are once they're returned back to the office. Greg Borowski in JS Online has a great article on what's going to start Sunday. Basically, it's Open Records Week, where they talk about the ability to live in America and have access to open records. But also you have to remember many people have personal information and identification that you shouldn't have. So because a person's been arrested, you get some information, but you're not getting everything. But that's what happens. Those are the rights that you lose when you commit a crime. And that's just the way it is. If you are a police officer, you live in a bubble, and it's a glass bubble that is subject to break if anybody throws a brick. And people constantly throw bricks. And so I find it interesting that we tend to hold the police to a standard that we ourselves can't keep, which is why we need the police, is because the general public doesn't hold themselves to a standard. They break the social contract we have to do no harm to each other. But when police do it, and they're found guilty, there's only one thing for them. There's only one 5-letter word that can bring about justice that the public will be happy with. And I know, because I know there's a lot of police officers that listen, and a lot of them tell me, hey, I listen to your show every day, or I listen overnight for the rebroadcast. And I get it, and I appreciate it, and I thank you. But in the end, when police are found guilty, there's only one place for them: prison.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 101.7 The Truth.
Here at the new 101.7 The Truth, we aim to be a staple in Milwaukee's Black community. We are committed to partnering with local organizations and supporting Black-owned businesses. We are proud to call Milwaukee our city and promise to be a positive reflection of our community. We look forward to celebrating Black culture and excellence with you every day as we make history and continue to uplift the voices in our city. Join us for the journey at the new 101.7 The Truth, founded by Gruber Law Offices, Milwaukee, Black, Talk.
Life's better with American Family Insurance. Because whether it's a family road trip in your dream car or hosting a family reunion in your dream home, we help you feel protected so you can enjoy those dreams with peace of mind. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Truth Nation, gear up for a great time as Sports Milwaukee hosts Milwaukee Tailgate Week, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Set for April 24th to the 26th, Milwaukee Tailgate Week features a variety of gridiron activations for all ages, steeped in Milwaukee's iconic sports history, attractions, brews, restaurants, and venues. As the 2025 draft takes center stage in Green Bay, Sports Milwaukee and the Cream City are excited to welcome the football world back to Wisconsin. For tickets, go to visitmilwaukee.org/tailgate. Brought to you by Visit Milwaukee. Handcrafted, homegrown, world class.
Who decided you need to have lots of money?
Have to live in a certain area. Have to be a certain color.
To have a dream.
To expect a great education.
It's no secret many of Milwaukee students lack the resources, support, and opportunities that more privileged children have, but you may not know all the things Milwaukee College Prep is doing to change that. We urge you to visit MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com to find out and see how you can help children like
me,
and me.
Give the education all kids deserve. Donate today at mkeprep.com.
Saving energy and money is easier than you think. Here are 2 simple things you can do to reduce your energy use and lower your energy bill. Use thermal curtains to reduce each room's energy loss by up to 25%, and make sure vents aren't blocked by furniture or rugs to improve airflow and comfort. Simple, smart savings. Get more energy-saving tips at WeEnergies.com.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Black. Black, black, black. Black on black, black. Yeah, hey. Okay, black, 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 black on black, black, my thoughts so black, 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 I'm black, my skin is so black, I'm rocking that black on black is black.
Rims on this black, wheels in this black, whip with this black, bitch, I'm so black on black on black on black on black,
black, black, black on black.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. And I just remembered I left all my book and everything in there. That's what I remember after anyway. So WISN has a story on today about 3 more MPS schools to close temporarily due to lead paint. Don't we realize that there's lead in every school? How many schools we got in Milwaukee? How many schools are in the city of Milwaukee? Thank God for Google. 156 schools, 9,356 employees, 8 tuition-free Montessori schools for kindergarten through 12, 11 international baccalaureate from elementary through high school. So then, pretty much all these schools were built with the exception of a few. And I don't know what that number is or percentage. That was built at a time when there was lead in paint. So watch this. Can't we just go to every school and test? Can we? Can we go to every school and just do a random test of about 10 rooms and get an idea of, hey, yeah, these are all there. Yeah, there's lead here. And if there's lead there, yeah, mitigate it. 833-212-1017 is the number. What should we do about this whole MPS lead thing? It's like people are waking up. I remember growing up. I'm gonna admit something that I've never admitted on the radio or to anybody else before. When I was growing up in Chicago, we lived on the second floor over a tavern and an insurance company. Right? It was a commercial building downstairs, apartments upstairs. Our apartment was very small. It was 4 of us, but it was very small. And I've talked about how I grew up. It wasn't anywhere. People say it wasn't the best. It was nowhere near. It was worse than the worst. But I digress. So as we're living there, the paint in the in the windowsill would crack. It would break because, you close the window and it bump and then it crack and then it break. And it was about 1/4 of an inch thick, and it would break out in chunks. And so I remember, I was a kid, I licked it, and it tasted good. Well, it was lead. It was lead in that paint. I don't think I'm any worse for the wear. I don't know. Maybe if I didn't lick the little piece, I might not have enough lead. If I didn't have lead in my brain, I might be like richer than Elon Musk. I don't know. I think I did okay. And no, I'm not saying lead poisoning is good for people. What I'm saying is that it was such a well-known thing that now that we've changed it, didn't it dawn on anybody to go back to all these schools and say, if this school has lead paint and it was made in the 1950s or 60s, we got schools that are 50 some odd years old, 40 some, like that's insane. Where's the plan to rebuild all these schools? It's not like we don't have enough, right? So if you're going to keep those schools, the ones that are open and that you want to change, let's do this. You ready? I'm going to get this one to you for free. Go out and take the schools that has nobody in them. It's 10 of them. Take about 6 or 7 of them, transfer those kids from schools that are open right now to that school. First of all, before you transfer the kids, clean up the building. Mitigate the building. Not perfection, but just mitigate it. If you don't want to, mitigate 2 or 3 of them. And every 3 schools, you can transfer them to those schools temporarily, and then you clean it up and get rid of the lead, repaint it, and then bring the kids back. So the kid may have to be out of school for like maybe, 2 semesters, half a year. Like, come up with a plan. Oh, that's right. We don't have a superintendent until Saturday. Yeah. Oh, well. And clearly the teachers, not the teachers, the school staff, the administrators, and everybody else didn't really care. Or did they? I think they did. I think the overwhelming majority, probably in the 90 to 95% range, of employees at MPS actually really truly care about those schools and the safety of the children. So then let's make a change. Every principal, right? Need you to show up, take your kit, go back to your school, just do a cursory test. We don't need to call an expert in. We don't need to call all these. Just take one of those home lit test kits, test it, and if it tests, then we'll send the person out to do the actual official test and take it back to the Department of Health and take care of it. Like, sometimes you really have to work hard. You really have to go, you know what, this is going to be terrible, and I'm going to have to work weekends, and I'm going to have to pay a little extra money to some people, and we're going to have to get these schools tested. Is it an easy fix? Because somebody told me the other day, yeah, you make that sound so easy. No, it's not easy. Anything that's good is not easy. It never is. Anything that you can win, and when I say win, I mean do what it is you want to do. If you want to be an influencer, if you want to be a talk show host, if you want to be a producer, if you want to, in order to get there, it's going to be difficult. You're going to have to go through some stuff. But then when you do, you'll be that much better. But for some reason, So this is a good start. They found it in a school. They've got some schools, and they said, you know what? We need to change this. We need to go in. We got 3 more schools that they tested, so clearly they're going through testing them. So parents received notices yesterday. Starms, Fernwood, Montessori, and La Follette be temporarily closed on Monday for cleaning and testing. Health Department will be providing updates on the school as they conduct inspections. That's what I'm talking about. La Follette students will be temporarily relocated at Wisconsin Conservatory of Lifelong Learning, 12th and Highland. Starms students and staff will be temporarily located to Starms Discovery Learning Center, 27th and Lloyd. And Fernwood students and staff will be located at Andrew Douglas Middle School, 18th and Nash. Basic, it's simple. If your kid's assigned to a bus, they'll be taken to Douglas. If you need transportation, daily shuttles will take the kids from Fernwood to Douglas, right? So there's no real issue about your kid not going to school. The health department is searching more schools for lead. Officials picked Hopkins Lloyd, Brown Street Academy, Duffler, Longfellow, West Side, Our Avenue, and Franklin because of the age of the buildings and the age of the students inside. And so Trowbridge Schools of Great Lakes Studio in Bayview is reopening today after being closed for similar lead issues. They shut it down on February 28th, so that's how many days? 14. That's about 15 days or 3 weeks. About 15 days, which would be 5, 10. So it'll be about 2 weeks worth to get into it. The health department said Trowbridge passed its clearance check following lead hazard remediation and cleaning. Dust levels now meet safety standards. And that's all we asked for. That's all we asked for. You remember Golda Meir Lower Campus and Kegel School. They found lead hazards on 19 surfaces at Maryland Avenue, Montessori. So they're doing it. Sounds like they're doing a good job, but the health department recommends these things. When they closed Trowbridge, they said use wet wipes to clean surfaces, use shoes at the door to prevent tracking in dirt, remove shoes at the door to prevent tracking in dirt with lead dust, wash toys frequently, provide foods rich in iron, calcium, and vitamin C to prevent lead absorption, and use a water filter to remove lead. Students can get tested on Saturday the 15th, testings from 9 to 1 at Bradley Tech. So that is a phenomenal start for MPS. That is a phenomenal start for whoever decided we need to fix this. We need to make the correction. Sounds like they did what they were supposed to do. My question is, how much money will it cost? Well, is there an amount of money that you don't want to pay to help kids be able to grow up without lead poisoning? I don't know. I don't know if you should use it as a, hey, we just going to do it, and that's it, and just spend what we need because it's for the children. No, we need to be respectful. We need to be, pragmatic as it relates to fixing this. But in the end, we need to make sure the schools are safe. 833-212-1017 is the number. Talk and text line, all that fun stuff when we come back. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. And now with traffic on 101.7 The Truth, it's Debbie Lazica. What you got?
Things are really slow along southbound 43 as you're making your way down from Keefe all the way down through the Marquette and over the high-rise bridge. We're seeing more delays then continuing on from Lapham all the way to the KK River crossing. Northbound slowing down from Kilbourne all the way up to Keefe. Westbound on 94 looks like we've got basically the center lane blocked with a crash right about at 35th Street. So it's going to be slowing down from 27th all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. We've also got a crash on 94 northbound right at the collector ramp at Layton Avenue. This is off on the left shoulder. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, showers and storms likely. Some of them may be strong, breezy with the low of 50. Tomorrow, very windy, partly to mostly cloudy with an isolated shower, a high of 61. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 101.7 The Truth, the Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
President Trump and Elon Musk are forcing radical changes in Washington, from stopping payments for health care and threatening to restrict abortion rights to accessing Americans' private information. With Washington out of control, who we elect to the Wisconsin Supreme Court could be the last line of defense of our rights. The ACLU Voter Education Fund does not endorse or oppose candidates, but wants you to cast an informed vote in the Wisconsin Supreme Court election. So where do the candidates land on issues like abortion? Brad Schimmel stated he supports banning abortion. Susan Crawford successfully protected abortion rights while representing Planned Parenthood in Wisconsin. We need a Wisconsin Supreme Court that can be a check and balance to protect us when our rights are threatened at the federal level. On April 1st, Wisconsin voters will make a critical decision about the future of abortion in our state. To learn more about the Wisconsin Supreme Court candidates, visit aclu.org/WI2025. Paid for by ACLU Voter Education Fund, 212-549-2500. Not authorized by any candidate or candidate's agent or committee.
ACLU Voter Education Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This is your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
Victory Garden Initiative is an 1.5 acre urban farm that sits right in the middle of the Black community on Richards and Concordia. I don't know if you know that Harambe is a food desert. So within its borders, there are no major grocery stores. So people rely on things like dollar store, corner stores, liquor stores to buy food, which is all unhealthy. Everything we grow, and we grow everything, tomatoes to potatoes to carrots to corn to onions, to, and so on. And everything we grow is free to the community. It started in 2009. They wanted to build a sustainable food production system that was healthy and sustainable. And what that meant was giving people the resources to grow their own food and the skills to make sure that those attempts were successful.
This has been your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard, aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
This is Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth, powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. No LeBron, no win for the Lakers as the Milwaukee Bucks dominate Luka and LA by a final score of 126-106.
Here's a lob up top. Great feed from Dame up top to Sims, who sends it down with a thunderous two-hand slam and a great 1-2 punch there. Starting to see that more often. Jericho Sims, he's a rim runner.
With the win, the Bucks improving to 37-28. Next up is Indiana on Saturday evening. Over to college hoops as the Marquette Golden Eagles are moving on in the Big East tournament after beating Xavier 89-87.
Marquette gets it. Joplin three. Holla at your boy. Again. Holla at your boy. One more time. Holla at your boy.
Marquette will face off with St. John's this evening. And lastly, the Milwaukee Brewers getting a spring training win on Thursday over the Chicago White Sox by a final score of 9-3. The sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris, 833-212-1017 in the number 4. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. You know, we talk a lot about unprecedented quality and service you get from Pella, but talking to the people who work there, you can kind of tell how much they really genuinely love what it is they do. Pella's team is with you from start to finish. They don't disappear after they make the sale. And right now, take advantage of windows as low as $22 a month, doors as low as $89 a month. Certain restrictions apply. Offer ends March 31st of 2025. Get started right now today. Go to PellaWI.com. That's PellaWI.com. 833-212-1017 is the number. Carolyn said, "Hi, Dr. Ken. Happy Friday." We'll see. I think people are just overly happy. Their expectation is to always be happy. Everything should just be happy, 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 happy. And then when they don't get happy, they fall apart. I'm just saying. The caller said, "Matlock is an idiot." Well, why don't you call him an idiot if he gets convicted? If he gets convicted, then he's an idiot. But everybody deserves their day in court. Somebody said, "Elliot Musk was clearly a kid who sniffed paint. Paint just didn't impact his creative side." Well, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's test what it is you're saying, all right? Let's ask Google. How does paint and lead affect cognitive effect learning? Cognitive development. Lead exposure, especially through lead paint, can significantly impair cognitive development and negatively impact learning, causing problems with attention, memory, and academic performance. So, lead's neurotoxicity. Lead is a neurotoxin that can damage the brain and the nervous system, even at low levels. So what does it do? It reduces your IQ. So lead exposure is linked to lower IQ scores, affecting overall cognitive ability. Now, the other thing about IQ scores is that IQ scores are normed for white America. So some of the questions, some of the things, some of the examples are not reflected in Hispanic, Black, or in many cases, Asian communities. And so you get this disconnect on an IQ because they don't understand the example you give, because the example is of something that's within the white community. How can I say that? It's not a positive or a negative, it just is. And so depending on when you went to school, there were things that I learned that were predominantly white because I only had like 3 Black teachers in my entire career through high school. Then when I got to college, I never had a Black teacher. Not at the University of Illinois, Chicago, and not at Illinois State University. When I got to Concordia, I had 1, 2, that's about it. And I never had a Black female teacher in college. So, now I know there's a good number of you going, "Well, why does that matter?" Well, what they see is what they'll be. I might have thought about going into higher education significantly sooner instead of law enforcement had I seen somebody that looked like me and thought to myself, well, wow, if they can do it, I can do it. I had an instructor at Illinois State University who was doing what I wanted to do. And he was working on his doctorate, and he was teaching at Illinois State. And he was doing great. And I see him today, right? And the weird part about it, he wasn't that much older than me. And now he's working overseas. He's a dean of a college of communication and media science. And so those are like and one of the reasons I got into radio was because he made a referral to WJBC in Bloomington, Illinois, and said they're looking for a weekend announcer. Go talk to him. And so what I didn't know, he had already sent them my tape and had already talked about me and said he'd be a great candidate. And when I showed up, I thought I was interviewing for a job, and they were telling me when I was going to start, and that started my radio career. Now, I was working on campus radio, the local NPR station and all that, and the local WZND, the local 10-watt station. But evidently, I had learned something. Same thing at University of Illinois, Chicago. One person said, him. That's more powerful than anything you'll ever have in your life. Interesting. Anyway, I digress. Musk's logical side is fried. No, it's not. He has built electric cars that he's made billions on, but he supports a politician who's climate change denying. Fool. I'm not necessarily we just gonna fall hook, line, and sinker into climate change. I'm not a denier. And to not agree with something doesn't mean you deny it. You just disagree with parts of it. Like you just disagree with parts of it. There's some things about climate change that are just stupid, and that people say, we got to do this. If we went all electric, we wouldn't be able to sustain it because our electrical grid is not up to par. It's going to take about 20, 30 years to get that up to par. That's one. Number two, we don't have any of the minerals it takes to make batteries, which means you got to buy them from foreign countries, and you're going to pay through the nose. And the only people that'll make money on it are the foreign companies and the foreign countries. And so people don't understand the big picture and look at all the components. They only tend to hold on to the part that makes their argument, and they reject all the other things that are not only practical, but factual and true. If we followed climate change the way that we say we were supposed to follow climate change, we'd all be dead. Because when I was growing up, the earth is cooling, and we're going to freeze, and we're going to die. And then that didn't work. So then they changed it to ecology. Keeping everything clean and picking up trash, right? Had campaigns. Every little bit helps. Clean up your trash, right? And now we're on what? Now we're on to climate change. Why? Well, the earth is warming. Okay, 20 years, 30 years ago, y'all said the earth was cooling. Which one is it? Which one is it? It's been known that people have doctored data to make it say what they wanted it to say. The earth is getting cooler. Is it? Do we have enough data day in, day out to figure out what we need to know? Because we only started taking temperatures in the 1800s, late 1800s. So there's a lot of information. And to believe it or not, when it comes to the earth being roughly 3 billion years old, 1 century of data is not enough to know what the earth's going to do. That's just me. I'm just one guy. You can disagree if you like. Because since the Industrial Revolution in the Industrial Revolution in 1900, when we started building factories and kids were working in factories under horrible conditions along with adults and all that, we've begotten a significant number of new technology as it relates to clean coal, oil, gas, all those things. So it's significantly better today than it was then. So we're putting out less emissions. Yeah, but there are more cars. Cars are built better and better and more efficient every year. And if that were the case, I mean, does it strike you as strange that we have just enough grass and trees to put out oxygen as we put out carbon, and it balances and nobody dies? Now, are there people with physical conditions? Yes. Breathing conditions? Yes. And we need to make sure they're as safe as possible. But you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You don't change everything because it's affecting some people. You figure out how to help those people. Figure out how to make their life more comfortable in things we can do that are practical, not a wholesale change. Some of the changes Biden wanted to do to tailpipes on cars would have effectively put car business out of business. And then they wanted all electric cars by a certain year. That's crazy. Makes no sense. I think if people want it, they'll buy it. The market will take care of it. The market will correct itself and say, hey, dude, we don't want those. We want these. And they'll come up with a way to make cars here with better batteries and more efficient. But right now, all the elements we need to build those batteries come from other countries like China and the Ukraine. And we're going to end up paying. So take a step back and don't just follow your politics or follow what you've been force-fed in some schools, but look for it yourself. Find both sides of an argument or the 3 or 4 sides of an argument, figure it out, and then do it. And then make up your mind. And if you're 100% for climate change or global warming, be that way. But don't just take it because somebody told you that. Don't just take it because you trust the person. You gotta verify.
You are listening to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is Sherwin Hughes from The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. And Truth Nation, you can now watch my show live on YouTube every day from 9 a.m. until noon. Yep, you can get 3 full hours of watching Sherwin doing his thing streaming live on YouTube Monday through Friday. You'll get the same insightful conversations about policy, politics, and lifestyle while also seeing my reaction to the unpredictability of our listeners. So go to YouTube right now, subscribe to 1017 The Truth, and see this wonderful smile live every day.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It's 1017 The Truth. Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. We talk a lot about the unprecedented quality and service you get from Pella, but talking to the people who work there, you can tell how much they genuinely love what they do. Helping fulfill people's dreams is very rewarding to them, and it shows through their tremendous efforts. Pella consultants take the time to listen to each customer, finding the right solution that works for their home. They know that everyone's situation is different. Maybe you have a historic home you're renovating, or it's a new build with unique finishes. Pella designers can customize windows and doors to perfectly match any one-of-a-kind abode. They're with you from start till finish. It's like having a friend on call throughout the project and beyond. They don't disappear after the sale. Right now, take advantage of windows as low as $32 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Certain restrictions apply. Ends March 31st, 2025. Get started today at PellaWI.com.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Hey, Truth Nation, our 4th annual Tory Low Community Cleanup is Saturday, April 12th, 8 a.m. to 12 noon. We want you to be there. Go to truthcommunitycleanup.com. That's truthcommunitycleanup.com. Sign up to be a volunteer to help keep Milwaukee clean. Everyone who registers for the last cleanup site will get a free lunch provided by Cousin Sub. So, register today, truthcommunitycleanup.com. That's truthcommunitycleanup.com to clean and beautify our city together. The Tory Low Community Cleanup, Saturday, April 12th from 8 a.m. till 12 noon, is presented by 1MKE. We are 1MKE and sponsored by Cousin Subs, Reyes, Coca-Cola, Landmark Credit Union, and Waste Management. 833-212-1017 is the number. So, yep. So we got that. Got a lot of stuff going on. Got stuff coming up I'll be telling you about for tomorrow. It's oh, dude, I gotta be up and out the house at 6 o'clock tomorrow and doing stuff, and then I gotta come back home, and then I gotta go back out, and then I gotta come back home. It's gonna be a lot of stuff to do tomorrow. I'm just saying. The world has seen Musk's behavior. He's a very smart weirdo. I don't know what that means. Most smart people are a little strange. They're a little different. You think a different way. You see the world in a different way. You respond in a different way. Right? That's just how it goes. 833-212-1017. I am so far behind on all the stuff I wanted to talk about. It is absolutely, totally ridiculous. I did want to touch on this, though. They've been giving out, I don't know if I said it, they've been giving out the wrong mailers. So people are receiving postcards that say April 11th when it should be April 1st. And so I got them from California. I got one from Sacramento, California that talked about the date, and it's at the 11th of April. And I'm like, it's not right. It's not right at all. And so if you read it, they all were for Crawford. Hey, come vote for her, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay. But then I read it, and I went, this is wrong. And why is somebody from another state sending me a postcard on a voter roll to tell me I need to vote for who they think I should vote for? Mind your business, fix your fire burning, house burning down, not helping people, canceling insurance state. Stay out there. Goofs. A lot of them. Anyway. Musk Buddy is a person who is against electric cars and funding for their charging stations. Dumb. I don't even understand what that means. Musk Buddy is a person who's against electric cars. Well, I don't know if people are against electric cars. They're against how electric cars are made. I'm just reading the funding for their charging station. Well, I wouldn't fund your charging station anyway. You want to build a charging station, build it yourself. Why are we building? So the Biden administration paid how many hundreds of millions of dollars or billions to build all these charging stations? They built like 8. Crazy. Where's the money? It's like we have these ideas and we spend money on these ideas, but they don't really work. In order for us to drive electric cars, we would have to have something at our homes that's going to charge our car. Because I'm not going somewhere else to watch this. Hey, I got to go charge the car. You want to go to the car wash? No, I'm not going to the car wash. I'm going to sit in a spot. So I drove somewhere one time, and when I traveled, I ended up with an electric car. And I thought, this is pretty cool. It was a Ford Mach-E, like the Mustang Mach-E. And it's a pretty decent car. I really liked it, and I thought I could get used to an electric car until you find out how much the battery costs when it goes out. And you're like, what? That's crazy. You would have to be out of your mind. And so you would have to be able to afford a charger at your house that's a converter that you can charge your car at home. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting out somewhere in some parking lot or at a gas station charging your car. That makes no sense to me. But that's what we do. It's just weird. I don't get it. At least make it so that I can use it at home. But all these charging stations, people said, I don't know if that's going to be coming in the next 3.5 years, 4 years. Anyway, hey, Truth Nation, join Benjamin and Kyle Wallace 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for a special Saturday broadcast from Thrive on King Live for the 2025 Black Family Wellness Expo, presented by the Links Incorporated and the partnership with the Diversity Blood Center of Wisconsin. That was the interview you heard yesterday with Denise Thomas. Make sure you hang out, experience cooking demonstrations, basic healthcare services, blood pressure checks, and learn your actual blood type. You can even make a blood donation to help save a life. It's a special Truth broadcast going down tomorrow, this Saturday, like tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Black Family Wellness Expo right here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. And watch this. You might be able to even show up. I might even be there.
One call, that's all.
One call, that's all is right. Be caller number 4 for your chance to win our One Call, That's All 5K giveaway entry for the day. 833-212-1017 is the number. Caller number 4.
Truth Nation, it's that time of year again for the Tory Low Community Cleanup. Mark your calendars for Saturday, April 12th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. as we will be cleaning up the city of Milwaukee. Also, to show our appreciation, everyone who joins gets a free lunch provided by Cousins Subs. That is the Tory Low Community Cleanup on Saturday, April 12th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Presented by 1MKE and sponsored by Cousins Subs, Reyes Coca-Cola, Landmark Credit Union, and Waste Management.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus audio network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
We're not adults, so just be there and listen. I just want someone to yap to. And I just feel like I'll be fine if someone just hears me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
You're doing a really good job. And I don't think I tell you that enough. And I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us. But try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
When a parent sees their child smile, they see hope. Aleem hoped that his son Rajib would have an easier life than he had. You see, Rajib, just like his father, was born with a cleft. But as a fisherman in a small village in Indonesia, the cost of surgery was out of reach. Their lives were transformed thanks to Smile Train, which sponsors free, life-changing cleft surgeries and other essential treatments. Rajib's surgery marked Smile Train's 2 millionth, and incredibly, Aleem's was the 2 million and first. Now, their smiles are a symbol of hope for children with clefts all over the world. 540 babies are born with a cleft each day. But through Smile Train, millions of lives have been changed. To learn more and support the global cleft community, visit smiletrain.org/learn. Smile Train, changing the world one smile at a time.
You're listening to the new 101.7 The Truth, founded in partnership with Associated Bank. Your money works here. 101.7 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is your 101.7 The Truth News Update.
Hello, everyone. This is Rhea Riley with your news update. A Milwaukee real estate agent is now in custody, charged with operating a human trafficking operation out of a home on Milwaukee's west side. Austin Cronster is alleged to have held multiple women against their will, requiring them to sign a contract and wear a collar at all times. A criminal complaint notes at least one woman was told by Cronster she must change her last name to St. Pierre, and that he threatened to inject her with a substance that would be harmful to her. The complaint notes that the women inside of the home all had the same tattoo of a beetle holding a poppy flower and were assigned slave numbers. Cronster is in custody, but bail has not been set. The judiciary has threatened contempt of court and fines if school resource officers don't return to Milwaukee Public Schools by Saturday. Now the state legislature is 2 steps away from enforcing its own penalties. Representative Bob Donovan authored a bill that would withhold 10% of state funding for Milwaukee and 20% of school aid payments for MPS.
Any law that's passed that doesn't have consequences for breaking that law isn't worth the paper it's printed on. And the city of Milwaukee and MPS have proven my point.
The bill passed in the Assembly. It now goes to Senate and subsequently Governor Evers. The Lynx Incorporated Cream City chapter is hosting their free Black Family Wellness Expo this Saturday, March 15th. The Lynx Incorporated Cream City chapter is hosting their free Black Family Wellness Expo this Saturday, March 15th. The expo is part of the organization's efforts to raise awareness about conditions that shorten or impact the quality of life for those within the Black community. The family-friendly expo will have various conversations about Black health, ranging from prenatal and maternal health to breast and prostate cancer awareness, and even tax preparation and mental health awareness and resources, and so much more. There will also be over 25 different vendors to check out, along with food tastings, prizes, and music. And don't forget to stop by and say hi to 1017 The Truth's very own Benjamin and Kyle Wallace, who will be on site broadcasting live from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So don't miss this weekend, the Black Family Wellness Expo this Saturday, March 15th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Thrive on King. This has been your news update. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris continues on the new 1017 The Truth.
Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and the Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Woo, been drinking too much Pepsi. Lord have mercy. Too much Pepsi. Electric rates keep increasing. Don't force electric cars on us. Grid is not close to ready. That's true, Ann. I don't even know what that means. But electric rates are going to go up. Don't force electric cars on us. You'll just have to pay more. And so instead of paying gas, you'll just pay electric. Like, I don't even think we can take the grind I don't think we can take the increase in output. Our electric grid would just fall apart. It would actually fail. Let's see. It's Pop-Off Friday, right? It's Pop-Off Friday. And I think there's no time better to pop off than right now.
Number 5.
From JS Online, so a Milwaukee man is facing multiple felony charges of fraud and money laundering after allegedly stealing mail from mailboxes and forging checks in West Allis, Milwaukee, and Wauwatosa. It's alleged that Braxton Clark, 27, attempted about $315,000 in fraudulent transactions, according to the criminal complaint filed this past Tuesday in Milwaukee County Circuit Court. Of that amount, police say Clark was successful in depositing $287,000. So you're talking about a guy that went from not having any money or making a normal income to $287,000 in the bank, which is over the amount of money to be insured. But you know, if you put in more than $10,000, what's going to happen? They're going to fill out a SAR, Suspicious Activity Report. And then people are going to be like, hey, where'd that money come from? An arrest warrant for Clark was issued this past Wednesday. That's according to online court records. Clark is facing 8 felony counts per the complaint. What are those charges? Every time he tried to do it, they added conspiracy. And then the completed ones he did, they charged the crime. Conspiracy to commit fraud, conspiracy to commit theft and movable property greater than $100,000, conspiracy to commit unauthorized use of personal identifying information or documents, unauthorized use of personal identifying information or documents, conspiracy to commit money laundering, conspiracy to commit fraud against financial institution over $100,000, conspiracy to commit wire fraud against a financial institution, and bail jumping. If convicted on all the counts, he could face a fine of $150,000 and or 70 years in prison. Several offenses are being charged a single time as conspiracies. That's according to the complaint. The state reserves the right to issue each fraud transaction that occurred. Think about that. It's called check washing. So from May 2024 to October 2024, where he stole mail from the U.S. Postal Service blue drop boxes. It's called a mailbox. Like, what are you talking about? Blue drop box? Like, oh, young people in their writing. From the mail, he obtained checks and altered the pay to and amount fields to benefit himself and others. The investigation indicated the checks were frequently deposited into multiple different accounts, which also were newly created and had little or no transaction history. Soon after the deposit, the fraudulent funds were withdrawn, the police said. The complaint also said Clark engaged in a broad scheme to defraud individuals and financial institutions by stealing and altering checks. Multiple financial institutions were impacted, including PNC Bank, Fidelity Investments, JP Morgan Chase Bank, One United Bank, and U.S. Bank. So West Allis started receiving complaints about mail theft and forgery. Reports indicated multiple people mailed checks between May and October that were forged and made payable to a different name. Clark was suspected because many of the fraudulent checks were altered were payable to him. Okay, we know why he got caught now. Okay. So you made the check out to yourself. Oh, Lord.
Number 4.
From WISN.com, stemming back to 2020. Milwaukee police are investigating a possible sex slave operation in the Concordia neighborhood. Online records show Austin Chronister is booked into the Milwaukee County Jail, charged with human trafficking, 2 counts of sexual assault, and false imprisonment. This goes back to 2020. Court documents say that Chronister lived in the home with multiple women at the same time, made them sign a contract to live there. The contract mentioned obedience, sex, and to wear a collar to remind the women they were at all times being evaluated for service. Prosecutors say Chronister was the only one with access to the caller's key. Complainant details two women's experiences in the home, and both make claims of sexual assault at the hands of Chronister. And one said if she disobeyed, he would hit, choke, trip, kick her, and there were also threats to inject her with a substance that would be harmful to her. The other said the women all had the same slave tattoo. In addition to tattoos and branding, the defendants were assigned slave numbers. Prosecutors describe another woman assisting the suspect. They said she would keep the victim's birth certificates and social security cards in a safe that only she could access. Now, here's the kicker. Online records show Chronister, who's in custody, is licensed to be a real estate agent and private detective. He called the property House St. Pierre. And a sign on the back of the house shows the moniker, and the victim said Chronister asked the women to change their last names to St. Pierre, and it appears at least one of them did. We got some sick people in the world. I'm sorry. We got some really, 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 really sick people in the world. I don't know what that's about. But he's another one that if he's found guilty, he should go to jail.
Number 3.
Well, we talked about it earlier. Milwaukee cop helped street gang target rivals. That's according to a complaint. A District 6 Milwaukee police officer used a police database to provide information to a convicted felon, help the felon conceal the true identity of stolen vehicles, and admitting to offering to sell guns to the felon. Interesting, to say the least. Jawan Madlock, who is now resigned from the police department, had about 10 years of service with the Milwaukee Police Department, and they raided a house in Greenfield, subsequently found text to the police officer from the person they were looking at who was part of the Brotha Z family, and it went from there. Investigators believe Madlock, 29, among other things, used the police database to identify identical vehicles, get the plates to put on the felon's stolen cars. So when they ran the plate, it would look like it was valid. So, well, as if that wasn't enough.
Number 2.
This from JS Online. Milwaukee County tracks a deputy falsifying jail logs, an officer stealing during a search warrant. An off-duty officer hit a parked car after leaving the bar and then lied about it. Now imagine one of them arresting you. This is an article by Ashley Lutheran. Under the law, you have a right to that information. How and when you get access to it depends on the prosecutor, who filed criminal charges, and brings a case to court. Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office has a system for tracking officers with credibility concerns, allegations of dishonesty or bias. But I think allegations of dishonesty or bias should only be if it is confirmed that that's what it was, then you get it. But if you think somebody's biased or you think they're dishonest, I don't know if an allegation should be there. Or if they have past criminal charges, but it's inconsistent, incomplete, and relies in part on police agencies to report integrity violations. This was an investigation by Milwaukee Journal, Sentinel, TMJ4 News, and Wisconsin Watch. They did an analysis, gave it to Milwaukee County District Attorney Kit Laverne, and raised questions about specific cases. He removed 7 officers from the database and acknowledged one officer should have been added to it years ago. And so there's a list. There's a list. There's a Brady list that has a list of all the officers, their name, department they work. And so it tells whether or not the infraction or allegation was criminal, or not, they have the officer's name in the department and whether or not they're still with the agency. And so if there's an internal investigation and you're put on the Brady list, shouldn't you be convicted of something? I don't know if someone thinks you did something that would be a reason for you to be on this list. And it's weird because some of the people, and I'm looking at some of these names, some of these people that I've known, they don't even work for the police department anymore. Some people are on here multiple times. I mean, don't even work there, wrong names, different names, it's just weird. And so how do you clean this up? Unless every department needs to go in and look at this list and find out whether or not this person is still working there. It just makes no sense. And so I can see why somebody's like, I see why the media is so wired about, oh, this is terrible, and they're this and they're that. Like, I'm looking at one name, that person's in prison. So why is this person's name there? Some of these people are literally in prison. Why is their name there? And I know some of them. Interesting. Interesting to say the least. Interesting to say the least. So when you get a chance, go through. Now, I would not take this list as the end-all to be-all because it is inaccurate. It's inaccurate, and it has names on here where some of the people are deceased, some of the people no longer work for the department, and it tells that. But if you're no longer in law enforcement, why would your name be on the list? I mean, that's just me. But why would your name be on the list when you no longer work there? Interesting. But I guess, the police are held, what did y'all say? Police are held to a higher standard, even when there's no standard?
Number 1.
This from the U.S. Department of Justice. Now, the Office for Civil Rights, here's a weird one, has initiated a Title VI investigation into institutions of higher learning. They opened an investigation to 45 universities under Title VI, allowing the Office for Civil Rights February 14th Dear Colleague letter that reiterated school civil rights obligations to end the use of racial preferences and stereotypes in education programs and activities. But isn't that what most history books do? They have racial preferences and stereotypes for whites because they wrote the book. I'm just saying. The investigations came amid allegations that these institutions have violated Title VI of the Civil Rights Act 1964 by partnering with, you ready? The PhD Project. Now, the PhD Project is a project that provides doctoral students with insight into obtaining a PhD and networking opportunities, but limits eligibility based on the race of the participants. They're also investigating 6 universities for allegedly awarding impermissible race-based scholarships and 1 university for allegedly administering a program that segregates students on the basis of race. But what do you do? Hear me. What do you do when the students want to be segregated? And see, what scares me is now this is going to trickle into fraternities and sororities and student groups, and now you got to let everybody in. So you're telling me the Jewish student group has to let Muslims in, and the Muslim student group has to let Jewish people in, and you're going to start mixing and matching and saying nobody can have anything to themselves. We live in America where people have a right to choose and pursue their own happiness. Now, I get the thing with the PhD project, because I could never get into the PhD project. And most of the time, it was only for women of color. So I get it, because there are less women of color, right? But there are ways around that, but I digress. The department is working to reorient civil rights enforcement to ensure all students are protected from illegal discrimination. The agency has already launched Title VI investigations into institutions where widespread anti-Semitic harassment has been reported. So when black people say they're harassed. We got to go through all of the munitions, all the garbage to get you to take the time to look to see whether or not there's a violation. Now, because they're Jewish, we're just going to automatically do it. Is that equitable? I don't think so. Title IX investigations into entities which allegedly continue to allow sex discrimination. Today's announcement expands our efforts to ensure universities are not discriminating against their students based on race and race stereotypes. The stereotype is that white people are smarter than black people. Or is it that black people are dumber than white people? Or that white is right, if you black, get back. I don't know. Students must be assessed according to merit and accomplishment, not prejudged by the color of their skin. We will not yield on the commitment. I get that. But what that also means is that whatever indicator you use to tell whether or not a person is doing right or is supposed to get the merit is fair. That's all I ask. Make it fair. That means the test doesn't get out early. You don't get to take classes, drop it, and then take the class again and pass it around to you. Like all those little things that give you the upper hand. All the exams that are written, all the books that are written that favor you because all the examples in the ACT and SAT are predominantly white examples of white America, of things that are important to white people. And I get it because you wrote it. You wrote it for you. Give us the information too. That's all. Universities now under investigation. Arizona State, Boise State, Cal Poly Humboldt, and they've got a list of names here. Cornell, Duke, a lot of Ivy League schools are on here. The Ohio State University, University of Chicago, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. And then I scrolled down and saw University of Wisconsin-Madison. So University of Wisconsin-Madison has the PhD project. And so what they're doing is they're dismantling programs specifically for black people. That's a problem. That program has never stopped white people from getting in. So if they want to keep the program, they'll have to open it up and let everybody apply. Then somebody's going to sue that say, because the assumption is, well, white people are smarter, so there should be more white people in this program. Huh? I don't get it. This needs pushback. This needs pushback. These are public and private universities. And so what do you do to get around it? Anybody? What do you do to get around it? You know the easy way to get around it? Don't take any federal funding. And that's unfortunate for students because then the only students that'll go to school are the middle class and the upper middle class who can afford to pay for college for their students. And that's unfortunate. But that's the world that we have created. That's the world that we've created. I see their alleged fairness in it. I also see the stupidity in it. So that means, watch this. If you're going to stop all these race-based and race-based segregated programs, then every single program that a woman is in, you need to get rid of it. Stop federal funding for all the women's colleges. You need to stop federal funding for all women-only scholarships because it's sex discrimination. Men can't get it. Stop funding anybody that gives women medical treatment. Stop funding anything that it's sex-based. That's how ridiculous this is. That is how stupid this is. Because now the law of unintended consequences will kick in, and now you have to start canceling things that you shouldn't be canceling. And while you're at it, let's stop school lunch too, because the majority of those folks that have school lunch. Oh, wait a minute. They use income. Shouldn't that be illegal too? You discriminating against me because of how much money I make? And now rich people can't get school lunch, but poor people can? So that's what. Let's just get rid of school lunch altogether. Get rid of all of it. Get rid of it all. And while you're at it, let's get rid of it. Again, you go down this road, and all of a sudden, there's a law of unintended consequences. And it'll be like living in Canada. Oh, you can't say that. If you have an organization, it has to be open to everybody on campus. That's ridiculous. We literally talk about having a place where you feel comfortable, and now we created a space where people don't feel comfortable. I guess we need to have some tours. Like, what would happen if all black people just got up and left and moved back to Africa? Y'all know y'all ain't going nowhere. Y'all got it too good here. Creature comforts, money, prestige, power. Y'all ain't going nowhere. All you need to do is just start your own business. Build a legacy. Leave greatness. And if you're an all-black business and, well, let me say that right. If you are black and have a business or an entrepreneur, any of that, if you need to share your story, grow your business so that other people know you exist, well, we've teamed up with Associated Bank for our Black Business Give Back. So each quarter, 4 lucky business owners will win an opportunity to spotlight their brand and journey on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. All you got to do is go to blackbusinessgiveback.com. Sign up for your business spotlight interview. That's blackbusinessgiveback.com. Again, each quarter, 4 businesses will have an opportunity to spotlight their brand and journey on our business spotlight interview right here on 1017 The Truth. Go to blackbusinessgiveback.com. Let's rebuild our community's backbone through exposure right here on The Truth. For official rules, head to blackbusinessgiveback.com. Associated Bank, member FDIC.
You are listening to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Start jamming in the morning and get your daily drop of juice.
Juice gets you hydrated and started for your day. And that's what we plan to do from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Every single morning, we're going to be keeping you in the mix, talking about everything you care about all before 9 a.m.
So wipe that crust out your eyes and get ready for jamming with juice.
Turning your mornings into your favorite part of the day.
Get that stank breath out of here. Brush your teeth.
It's it, bro. Like, what? Catch Jammin' with Juice
from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Good morning, Milwaukee. Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Did you know the gap between black and white students in Milwaukee continues to expand and is among the worst in the nation?
Or that the overall learning gap in Milwaukee is nearly twice that of the national average for black students?
Milwaukee, you can do better.
But in charter schools like Milwaukee College Prep, black and Hispanic students have stronger growth than kids at traditional public schools.
That's some really good news.
For nearly 3 decades, Milwaukee College Prep has been redefining what's possible. Give the education all kids deserve. Donate today at mkeprep.com.
President Trump and Elon Musk are forcing radical changes in Washington, from stopping payments for health care and threatening to restrict abortion rights to accessing Americans' private information. With Washington out of control, who we elect to the Wisconsin Supreme Court could be the last line of defense of our rights. The ACLU Voter Education Fund does not endorse or oppose candidates, but wants you to cast an informed vote in the Wisconsin Supreme Court election. So where do the candidates land on issues like abortion? Brad Schimmel stated he supports banning abortion. Susan Crawford successfully protected abortion rights, while while representing Planned Parenthood in Wisconsin. We need a Wisconsin Supreme Court that can be a check and balance to protect us when our rights are threatened at the federal level. On April 1st, Wisconsin voters will make a critical decision about the future of abortion in our state. To learn more about the Wisconsin Supreme Court candidates, visit aclu.org/WI2025. Paid for by ACLU Voter Education Fund, 212-549-2500. Not authorized by any candidate or candidate's agent or committee.
ACLU Voter Education Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Hey, Truth Nation, join Benjamin and Kyle Wallace tomorrow, 10 to 2. Special Saturday broadcast live from Thrive on King for the 2025 Black Family Wellness Expo, presented by the Links Incorporated and in partnership with the Diversity Blood Center of Wisconsin. Experiencing cooking demonstrations, that's for me. Basic healthcare service like blood pressure, that's for me. Learn your actual blood type, already got it. You can even make a blood donation with Diversity Blood Center of Wisconsin to help save a life. So it's a special Truth broadcast tomorrow. That's this Saturday. That's tomorrow. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Black Family Wellness Expo right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Make sure you come hang out. Might even see me stroll through there tomorrow just to check it out, see what's going on. 833-212-1017 is the number. Katie, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. How are you this fine Friday?
Ooh-hoo-hoo. Hey, Dr. Ken. What it is, what it was, what it shall be. I have... Okay, since, say, a white man can have his company and he only hires white men, they don't hire women because they may want to take off for maternity leave or some nonsense.
Well, don't come up with an excuse. Just,
So I just want to hire all white men, and then they'd have something all in common, and it'd be nice.
Okay.
Now on the same, because that's now legal, right? On the same token, can a black company do the same thing and just hire all black people?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Now, what you can't do, listen what I'm saying. What you can't do, and I'm not a lawyer, so don't take my word for gospel. I'm not get sound legal advice. What I can't do is not hire white people. Does that make sense? I can hire black people, but I can't not hire white people. In other words, if you apply,
just tell them the jobs are filled.
But then you'll get sued. You'll get sued.
How can you sue it?
Because
how can you sue it? They change the laws.
Well, they
right.
Okay.
So you don't.
Wait. What laws got changed? What laws got changed?
Well, they took a bunch of words out for federal, but from what I understand is that, like, okay, if a black person was going to a college that a white person had applied to, and the white person didn't get the seat, then they sue, saying that, hey, I should have got that seat. I was qualified, but you gave it to somebody else for whatever reason. So if a white, on the same token, it's like, DEI hires white people. No, what are you talking about?
Well, let me ask you a question because I think you're conflating a couple things. So when they overturned the portions of affirmative action that were race-based, what they said is that you can't hire somebody strictly because of their race. It has to be on merit. So what happened at, I think it was, I forget if it was Harvard or Yale. It was Ivy League school. The Asian student filed a lawsuit because all of their scores, all of their grades, everything was more than the people that they got into the school. So they said, I deserved a seat at that school, at that prestigious Ivy League school, and I didn't get in. So I'm suing because if it's based on merit, I got better grades. I scored higher on the ACT or SAT. I got a perfect score. Whatever they did, it was better. And the court records and the grades and the scores showed that they were better. They said they let the student in. Yes, it was. They let the student in because the student was black or Hispanic. Whether or not the student could do the work or not do the work is irrelevant to the court. Whether or not the student could hold their own at the Ivy League, in some cases they could, some cases they couldn't, just like everybody. In the end, the Asian student won. So what they said is, you want to let people get in your school, that's great, but you can't use race as the factor.
Well, they could say that it's not totally merit-based in that instance, to get into the school, that there's other things we want a more well-rounded.
Like what? No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. In the end, most places of higher education choose grades and test scores.
How does that work in the workforce then?
Well, the workforce is the workforce. You can hire who the heck you want in the workforce.
Well, there you go. So if I have a black company and I just want to hire all black women,
that's fine. I would have no problem with it, any more so than if all white men want to hire all white men. I don't care. Hire who you want to hire.
Legally,
I can't say whether it's legal or not. I'm gonna have to look for some lawyers to come in for constitutional law who understand that particular thing, or I'm gonna just do some research myself. But
okay,
but
let me know.
But again, it seems to come down to that people don't understand that, in particular to schools, companies with DEI and all that, all this is doing for companies is companies are now dropping their diversity, equity, inclusion statements that they had after George Floyd, and they stopped all the things that they never wanted to do, but they wanted to be like every other company. And now that they don't have to, they don't even have employee resource groups at some companies anymore, because black and Hispanic and LGBTQ plus and all that, like every person, they want to get. So because white people felt uncomfortable with black people hanging out with black people, they just got rid of the group, and now they feel good now. And I guess it's okay. But here's my argument. Start your own. They don't want you at the start your own. Start your own business, start your own store. Don't go work there.
Yep. Sounds good. Let me know where the farms are so I can buy from the farmers.
There you go.
Farmers too.
There you go. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
All right, well, thank you.
All right. And now with 101.7 The Truth Traffic, here's Debbie Lazago. What you got?
Southbound on 43, we got delays from before Capitol Drive, pretty much all the way down through the Marquette, over the high-rise bridge where it really slows down. There is a crash right about at Lincoln where we've got the outer lanes blocked. Only the center lane is available to use, so do be careful heading through that. On the northbound side, we got delays from just before Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up to Keefe. Eastbound 94 backing up from about Mitchell Boulevard to about 35th Street. We've also got westbound 94 slowing down coming out of the stadium interchange. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, showers and storms likely. Some of them might be strong, breezy with a low of 50. Then tomorrow, very windy, partly to mostly cloudy, isolated showers with a high of 61. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
You are listening to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Make history at the amazing 10th annual UNCF Mayor's Mass Ball on March 29th. Join Mayor Cavalier Johnson for an unforgettable evening that will transform lives. Every dollar raised helps promising local students achieve their college dreams through vital scholarships. This premier gala doesn't just celebrate our community, it builds future leaders. Be a part of Milwaukee's most meaningful social event of the year. Reserve your place now at uncf.org/MMB. That is uncf.org/MMB.
Keep your business safe, secure, and spotless with the Omega Security Guard and Cleaning Team. Proudly located in Milwaukee and female-owned, Omega delivers professional security and tailored cleaning services to meet your needs. Whether it's event security or a custom cleaning plan, their dedicated team goes above and beyond to exceed your expectations. Because at Omega, they're not just your service provider, they're your partner in peace of mind. Contact Omega Security Guard today or online at OmegaSecurityGuard.com. Omega Security Guard and Cleaning, protecting what matters most.
The award-winning 1017 The Truth proudly celebrates Women's History Month. Listen to one of our incredible Truth teammates highlight the remarkable achievements of Black women throughout history.
Hey everybody, it's Melanie Ricks from the award-winning 1017 The Truth. For Women's History Month, I want to highlight Maya Angelou for the incredible impact that she had on society. Maya Angelou, of course, most famously known for her unique and pioneering autobiographical writing style. One of her most well-known publications, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, was written in 1969, and it's still relevant in the year 2024. Maya Angelou was an American author, poet, civil rights activist, and she rose to prominence with the writing of that incredible and historic piece. Miss Angelou was a storyteller. She was a truth teller. She was someone who was able to bring together different groups of people simply with written word. She was someone who spoke from experience and spoke from others' experience and made sure that all Americans knew the true Black experience, and she was never afraid to speak on it and to write on it from a place of sincerity, a place of hurt. To this day, Still I Rise is one of the greatest pieces of work that I have ever read. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Because I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high. Still, I'll rise. Thank you, Maya Angelou, for all of your contributions. Your impact is truly everlasting.
Tune in to The Truth as we celebrate the greatness of Black women all month long.
This is Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth, is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. No LeBron, no win for the Lakers as the Milwaukee Bucks dominate Luka and LA by a final score of 126-106.
Here's a lob up top. Great feed from Dame up top to Sims, who sends it down with a thunderous two-hand slam and a great 1-2 punch there. Starting to see that more often. Jericho Sims, he's a rim runner.
With the win, the Bucks improving to 37-28. Next up is Indiana on Saturday evening. Over to college hoops as the Marquette Golden Eagles are moving on in the Big East tournament after beating Xavier 89-87.
Marquette gets it. Joplin three. Holla at your boy. Again. Holla at your boy. One more time. Holla at your boy.
Marquette will face off with St. John's this evening. And lastly, the Milwaukee Brewers getting a spring training win on Thursday over the Chicago White Sox by a final score of 9-3. The sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Talking text line. Is knowingly putting false information to a police report by an officer a crime? Depends. And so here's the issue. Every crime is not hard and fast. You either have to meet the elements or you don't meet the elements. Because you think it looked like is not good enough to meet the elements. Because it sounds like doesn't meet the elements. You have to meet all of the elements of a crime in order for it to be a crime. So if you put information into a report that ends up being false, your reasoning for putting the information in the report may be somebody told you, you got the information from another officer. I'm not taking up for the officer. I'm saying you got to look at the whole thing. And so when you say false information, it depends. It's a case-by-case basis, and you have to look at a totality of a lot of things in order to figure it out. If it ends up being false, it should be a crime, because now you're falsifying an official report that's misconduct in public office. So there you go. Your name should remain on the list because if you played a significant role in a conviction, those cases could be overturned or not. I might have done something wrong in one instance and did it right in another instance. Isn't that what you all say, that people shouldn't have their past held against them, but yet if you're a cop, it should hold you for the rest of your life? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. I'm just saying. You know what disturbs me about the black community, about our community, about my community? There's no forgiveness anywhere. There's no second chance anywhere. We give the wrong things a second chance. And when it doesn't affect us personally, we don't care, unless it's the police. And then we hammer them to death, no matter what. We hammer them into the ground. Oh, it looks like you did wrong. Well, did you? But instead of letting it play out, we scream, we holler, we protest, we do all this because of what we think. And then later, when it's found that actually it was correct, nobody wants to say anything. Nobody says, hey, sorry. It's unfortunate. It really is. And that's because the people can't hold the officer to the same standard that they hold themselves. If you commit a crime, you want leniency. But when a cop commits a crime, hammer them. Neither one's been convicted yet, but it's automatic. Cop, hammer them. Now, if they're convicted, that's a whole different thing. If they're convicted, I get it. Slam them. Lock them up. Throw away the key. But at some point, we got to take a step back and let the system work. Does the system always work? No. Does the system always come through? No. But the majority of the time it does. I think so. The majority of the time, it kind of works. But again, my argument's always been, it comes down to money. It always comes down to how much money you get and how good of a lawyer can you get. Because if you get one, boop, you're golden. And if you can't, life is rough. It really is. Anthony said the music selection, the music selection you play, they should call you Dr. Funk. No, don't do that. That's Funkenstein. Don't mess with that. Don't mess with that. See, we gonna fight already. Call me Dr. Funk. Man, get out of here. There's only one. There's only one. And most people that are under the age of 40 have no idea who I'm talking about. And you know what? Between you and me, I actually want to keep it that way.
You are listening to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Coming with straight truth.
Because I don't practice saying stuff I don't mean. So what I'm saying is, we started out the year with a lot of chaos. A lot of things going on around us. What I'm saying to you is clear the space to where, at least in your immediate space, you can get rid of a lot of the negative energy that circles in your space. Because a lot of times when you talk about stress, when you talk about not being at peace, it starts right in your own house.
Catch the Tori Lowe Show every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. This is your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
So Black women's leadership needs to be prioritized. That means a whole lot of things, but it includes a message for white women, which would be, it'll be wise for you to take our lead. We've already demonstrated everything there is to the world about who we are. We shouldn't have to keep doing that over and over again. The reality is that there are times when we got to muster up the energy to do some things we don't want to do. But I don't want that to be commonplace for me, and I certainly don't want it to be commonplace for other Black women. There's often this message that we need to stay strong because there are people depending on it. No, we need ourselves.
Yeah, you can't, what do they say? You can't pour from an empty cup?
Yes. And I even am hearing people say a lot more, you shouldn't pour from your cup at all until it overflows. And it's the overflow that you give. You keep the full cup for yourself.
This has been your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
It's party time at Cousins Subs. For a limited time only, Cousins is bringing back their famous 2-foot party subs. Whether it's for a big game, family gathering, or work celebration, Cousins 2-foot party sub is sure to be a crowd pleaser. Choose from the club, ham and provolone, Italian special, or turkey. Each party sub is just $39.99, feeds 5 to 8 people, and requires 24-hour notice to order. Order in store, online, or on their app for a limited time. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
Now is the perfect time to join the Nextdoor family. Whether you're a parent seeking the best for your child or a professional ready to make a difference. At Nextdoor, children thrive in small classrooms with 2 teachers, exploring art, music, and STEAM. With special needs support, family resources, and kindergarten readiness, every child gets the attention they deserve. And they're also hiring. Enjoy competitive pay, great benefits, and opportunities for personal and professional growth in a fun, welcoming culture. Make a real impact in the community. Join Nextdoor today, where every child, every family, and every team member matters. What's poppin', Troop Nation? It's your girl Noni Juice from Jammin' with Juice. Now listen, get into Steinhafels and test Rest a Beauty Rest Black for your chance to win a dream vacation to Hawaii. Right now, save up to $400 on Beauty Rest Black mattresses. Upgrade your sleep to an adjustable base, and you'll save up to $300. Plus, get up to $300 in Steinhafels cash. With Steinhafels 60-month financing, a Queen Beauty Rest Black mattress can be yours for just $38 per month. Don't overpay for a good night's sleep. Shop Steinhafels in-store or online.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. We talk a lot about the unprecedented quality and service you get from Pella, but talking to the people who work there, you can tell how much they genuinely love what they do. Pella's team is with you from start to finish. They don't disappear after the sale, and right now, take advantage of windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Certain restrictions apply. Offer ends March 31st of 2025. Get started today at PellaWI.com. That's PellaWI.com. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Tori Lowe Show is coming up next, and I'll be rolling out of here. Have a great weekend. You'll be getting the best of all of us all weekend long. Don't forget to hang out on Monday. And, of course, Monday evening from 6 to 8, it'll be me and D.T. Thomas for Truth Unfiltered. We'll be right here. Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate you all week. Hey, God bless. Take care. Be safe. It's going to be warm but windy. I'm out.